Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here. If you're here live with us on Zoom, welcome, welcome. If you are watching the replay, the recording on YouTube, welcome, welcome. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing speakers and teachers who are sharing their wisdom, their processes, their teachings, their mini readings, so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now, so that we can all embody the divine Shakti that is rising within us and the planet in the collective. And the reason why I'm doing this right now, for people who are wondering, is sometimes, my throat acts up right before I go on the call, right? So by doing this, it acts up less. So it's a little trick I picked up, or the guides gave me. I no idea, but it is what it is, right? But it's all good. I never have anything wrong with me. It's just energy, right? So today we have my dear friend, Dr.MoNique. She's back with us, and we're going to be talking about how your ancestors left you more than stories to heal, how inherited medicine shows up in your everyday life. And so some of what we're going to talk about today with Dr.MoNique, we're going to talk about how your ancestral medicine can bring clarity to the next chapter, asking for your attention, why a consistent relationship with your ancestors can offer guidance that you may not find through outside systems or conventional planning, how your Bloodline Codex reveals the inherited wisdom, gifts, and medicine that have been present throughout your life. So we're going to talk about that. When a question that keeps returning, maybe inviting deeper ancestral guidance or focused healing around an inherited story, how you may carry more than one ancestral gift that needs your attention. And Dr.MoNique, of course, will be taking your live caller questions and giving mini readings because she is so amazing. She's so tuned in, tapped in. I mean, she's such a clear channel for guidance from your ancestors. It's amazing. I love it. So we're going to be doing that in just a little bit. And for those of you who may not know Dr.MoNique, she's been with us, of course, many times, and we love having her on the show, of course. And Dr.MoNique is the conjuress and ancestral griot. I know, Dr.MoNique, you're like, I sent you something else to say, but at this moment, of course, I can't find it. She's guiding women to reconnect with ancestral wisdom for clarity, confidence, and direction. She is a former construction management engineer, and she once worked with physical blueprints and now helps women access the spiritual blueprints left by their ancestors. So she's often called the voice her ancestors want you to hear. Dr.MoNique brings ancestral guidance into everyday life in a way that feels grounded, supportive, and deeply familiar. And one of the things I love that you share with us, Dr.MoNique, you always share processes and rituals and information that is like so easy for us to take in and comprehend and even apply practically, right, in our day-to-day lives. So it's nothing that is overly complicated, or, like anybody can really follow some of these tips that you do. But the point, of course, is always to do it, right? To connect with your ancestors, right? So that is that is the big thing. And again, that doesn't even have to be in a complicated way either. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Dr.MoNique back to the show. Dr.MoNique, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so
I
glad you're
see
here.
some
We always
familiar faces too.
And we have so much fun, right? Whenever you're here, we always have so much fun. We always have
We do.
wonderful conversations, new information that comes up for all of us. I'm always intrigued. And so, of course, before the call, of course, a question popped into my head. It's like, oh, I got to ask this question from Dr.MoNique, right? Because, you know, this is a topic which, as you know, I'm not that connected with. It's been that way forever, right? But each time you come on, I'm like more interested, more intrigued, more it's like, yes, maybe there is something to this. Maybe the ancestors have more to share with us than just their old patterns, old beliefs, their struggles, what they failed at. Maybe there's something more, right? Because, let's face it, we've all done so much healing, right? And we've all looked at so many patterns and beliefs and all that stuff. There has to be, for me, there's always more. It's like we are here to also enjoy life, not just to heal everything. But at the same time, the ancestors that we had, whether we know them or not, um, like we all have gifts, so they also all had gifts, right? They didn't just have wounds, just like we don't just have wounds, right?
Absolutely. And I think what has happened is there's been so much focus on ancestral healing and the fact that the ancestors need healing that there hasn't been as much focus on those ancestors who are healthy, heal, and whole that are ready to provide guidance and support and help us with the medicine that's naturally flowing through our blood and bones. And I think that's where the whole idea, oh, I need heal, I need heal, I need heal, I need to heal them, I need to heal them, has come from. That doesn't mean there aren't ancestors that could use our help and need assistance with healing, but not all of the ancestors are in that place. And even when we've done the healing and helped those ancestors, they now are ready to support us. And so a lot of the work sort of stops at, okay, so the healing's been done and now I move on and that's it.
Yeah.
And what I like to share with people is the healing is just the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much more that is possible for us to connect with and receive. And like this is going to be a little off topic as well, but you know, our ancestors are living within us through our blood, right? So that's not too difficult to say, but so they're always with us, right? So whether you want to focus on the wounds or whether you want to focus on the gifts, that is your choice, right? But
Right.
but why can we not focus on the gifts as well as the wounds? I mean, we see the wounds very clearly because they are our wounds in this lifetime, right? So we see those very clearly, but we don't see the gifts because we don't recognize our own gifts either.
Ooh, great point. Absolutely. There are a lot of times when we really don't see what naturally flows through us. We don't think about how we have, very intuitive, sage advice for people. And those people are always coming to us. You may be the person that everybody comes to for advice, for strength, for wisdom, for information. You may be the person that everybody pours on because they know that they can come to you. Well, those are part of your gifts as well. Those are part of the things that the ancestors left behind. You may be sort of the sage in the family that lifts people up and encourages people. That doesn't mean that you haven't had carried some of the wounds. And in some cases, you may have carried the wounds that enhance the gift.
Mm. Hmm. Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we don't want to release those, of course, but it may have enhanced the gift. So you may have more empathy because of your experiences. So when you become that person that everybody comes to, you are more likely to really understand what they're experiencing and have some kindness and some patience and be willing to listen.
Yeah.
And that is a gift. But we don't always think of it that way because we think of gifts as all these other things like, musical ability and artistic talent and healer and all of these things. But there are so many gifts that the ancestors have perfected that now are part of our own experiences.
Absolutely. And I was gonna add as well, like some gifts may be as simple as you just holding space. And that does not mean you're doing anything. Just when you go into a room or when you go into some sort of space, somehow by your presence, it creates a safe space, it creates calm, it creates balance, right? You could just be the mediator in your family. That's also a gift, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You may be the person that keeps everybody sort of in tune with the central message of your family, which is, love and connection and support and bonding. You may be that person that does that.
Yeah.
You may be the person that has the positive relationships with everyone in your family.
It's funny when I talk to my aunt, for example, and she gets mad at me, not mad, but annoyed, something. She goes, "Why don't you ever say anything? Why don't you ask questions? Why don't you?" I was like, "I have nothing to say." But like other people will talk a lot and gossip and share, and I'm not like that. I'm like, "Yeah, I have nothing to say. If you want to ask me a question, you ask me something. I will answer, but I have nothing to say." So she's like, "You're so boring." It's like, you know, it is what it is. I'm not the troublemaker in the family. I don't stir the pot kind of thing, right? So I'm more of the calming presence, and bring everybody back into like wholeness and completeness
Yeah.
without doing anything. right?
Right, right. You're the person in the room that's adding some balance there. And I suspect that you're also the person in the room that the ancestors feel the most connected to,
For sure. Yeah, yeah,
right? So when they're hearing all of this stuff going on, you could be the person that they're feeding the energy through to create some peace unconsciously. You're that
exactly.
beacon, you're that light that is just shining, and they're bringing it in saying, you know what? We don't need this chaos.
Exactly. So you all could be that for your family or for,
Right.
your communities as well. It's, because like again, it's not about a doing, right? Necessarily. It's just about being, right? And being you. And when you're just being you, your gifts naturally, whatever they happen to be, because I hate that word now too. It's like, oh my God, it's a natural ability. It's nothing, it's not even a gift, I guess you could say, but it's a gift from the ancestors because they passed it on to you, they gave it to you. But it's just natural. It's who you are. And I think it's important to normalize that because sometimes people get caught up in, well, I don't know what my gifts are and her gifts are so much better and just comparing other people all the time. Whereas we're all gifted, we all have abilities and capacities. We're all special and unique our own way, right? And who we are is just as special as the next person.
Absolutely. And the only difference oftentimes is theirs is become more recognizable to them
Yeah,
because once again, we often think of gifts as, oh, she's musically talented, or she's a great artist, or she's a great writer, or she's a fabulous business person. And we don't see the other gifts like you even talked about being just that calmness in a family or in a room.
yeah.
And we tend to overlook those as being a part of what we contribute and what runs through us. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that person's gifts are better or that person has even more knowledge about their gifts. It just may mean that they're showing up in a way that is more easily recognizable and doesn't make that good or bad. It just is what it is.
And it's what that soul came here to express in this lifetime,
Absolutely.
right? So let's
Absolutely.
not let's bring that into focus as well. So, you
Yeah.
know, um, my gifts, because a lot of people talk about clairvoyant gifts, right? I don't. I mean, like, not clear, the clairs, right? All those gifts, right?
Right.
But my clairvoyance only comes through when it's needed. So I don't see stuff all the time, right? I don't hear stuff all the time. Like I know stuff most of the time, but even again, it comes through when it's required. So in my everyday life, day to day, nobody even knows what I do. Nobody nobody knows who I am. I walk along the street, walking the dog, whatever. Nobody knows. But it's like, you know, I always smile and I'm friendly and everybody smiles and says hi, whatever, right? So that's all great. But when these gifts are required, that's when they come through, not just willy-nilly. Just, I mean, like, I think we have to understand that piece as well. So even the gifts that are handed down by our ancestors, they are a gift and they're special in that way that they're not to be used trifling. They're used to be used, I think, to be in service.
Absolutely. To be in service on some level or another. And being in service doesn't necessarily mean an offer, a
Right.
business
Yeah.
offer. Yeah.
No.
Let's make that clear. It doesn't necessarily mean a business offer. And what I love about working with the ancestors is they most recently walked the planet.
Mm.
And so they understand that lived experience. They also understand what our soul came here to do. And as they are passing and helping us recognize the gifts that have been passed from generation to generation, they're really bringing into focus when you have that deep connection with them and communicate with them. They're bringing into focus the ones that are most specifically um, in need to support you right now with where you are in your soul's development and in your soul's expression. And that's part of what I really love about working with them is that they're very in tuned with that. And so they know that, oh, you know what? She's a person that brings peace to a room, and part of her soul's expression purpose is to create peace. And so now what we're doing is we're giving her that natural ability to do it without even consciously doing it.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. And so our ancestors and the ancestral medicine that is flowing through us, through our blood, through our DNA, can help us, especially right now with, for our next chapter in our life. There's so much happening for so many people. I mean, there's so much change happening right now, right? I feel, um,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's everything is changing so fast. I mean, we've been saying this for years that everything is happening so fast. I mean, my God, but it's for real now, for sure.
It is.
I never know what day it is. Like what day it is, what time it is it? I have no idea, right? But the ancestral medicine that is flowing through us, through our DNA, that we have access to and connection with, can bring clarity for our next steps in this next chapter of our lives, right? But
Yes.
so let's talk about that for a second because, normally, I'll be honest, most people in this community and these types of shows, when they want clarity, they go to the angels or they go to the ascended masters or they go to the galactics or, like they go outside of themselves, right? For me, it's about my higher self, which is a part of me, right? Which is me. And that's who I go to mostly is my higher self, right? Because my higher self has all the wisdom. But at the same time, the planet, the earth, has wisdom as well for us. And at the same time, like you said, the ancestors, because they are still a part of us. So they still have wisdom and gifts that they can share with us that can that can help us in some way, right?
Absolutely. I love that you're mentioning that because you're right. Oftentimes we seek guidance from outside of ourselves, and that doesn't necessarily make it bad. But when we take what we've gathered and now apply it to the connection that we have to our higher self, to our ancestors, to what our soul came here to do, it really allows that information to have a even deeper impact. And what I find with working with the ancestors is that you aren't necessarily going outside of yourselves, as outside of yourself as much as you are with other ways of connecting with different spiritual beings, because like you said, they are a part of who we are. But at the same time, they don't force this information on you. They don't force you to make these steps. They hear you when you say, I need to figure out what I'm here to do next. And then they bring that information forward. They bring that medicine that has been passed down from generation to generation into your view. So now you can take that and decide what you want to do with it. And they don't tell you exactly, okay, well, you need to go down the block and around the corner and join this organization. And then while you're at that organization, then you do this and this. What they say to you is, here's the information that we have for you. Here's the gift. Here's the skill. Here is the medicine. And now you can take it and combine it with what you're already feeling, what you're already experiencing, and create something new for yourself. Now, if you say to them, okay, so now where do I take this? They can provide you with some guidance, but initially they're not telling you exactly where to go. They're telling you about what is already inside of you that maybe you have missed, didn't know about, or maybe it hasn't been time and now it is. It may be that you had to gain some external wisdom before you could now go and connect with that inherited wisdom. And so they help you based on where you are on your journey. But they are so powerful when it comes to us looking at our next steps. And like you said, there's so many people that are at that point where they're really starting to take a deeper look at what they've done, the successes that they've had, the careers that they've had, and they're thinking, you know what, there has to be more. There has to be something different here. Whether it's that person who is getting ready to step out of a job to create something new, or the person that says, you know what, I'm getting ready to retire. And now I want to look at how do I continue to contribute? That ancestral medicine can answer those questions. and can help you really start to look at, okay, here's what's naturally in me, and now I can take it and do something else with it.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things you mentioned that is really important is timing, right? So sometimes the ancestors may have a clearer connection with what's happening with us timing wise than we do because we get so caught up in our stories and caught up in just ourselves, right? That we miss things. So they may be able to see something that we are ready to now experience or share or has been downloaded within us that has is integrating or has integrated and we're now ready to take that next step, right? But
Right, absolutely. I see that often when people will tell me about a dream and the ancestors came to them in a dream and they, I had a client recently that said the ancestors, one of her ancestors, she said that she felt like it was like a aunt from many generations back. She looked familiar, but she didn't know exactly who she was. And she talked to her about the work that she did as a midwife, with lack of a just a word for it at that time, but being a midwife, and how she helped give birth. And what my client realized is that that's what she's been doing for people for a long time, helping them birth something new.
mm, yeah,
And she said that it really kind of clicked for her that this was a part of who she is. So she decided to take, we did some deeper work to find out how she can take that gift, that medicine, and now apply it to the work that she's doing in a deeper way and helping people with a deeper transformation.
absolutely. I love that. And and that's the thing. Sometimes we can have little snippets or insights come to us in our dreams or just when we're sitting in meditation about things that we may have done in past lives or we see our ancestors doing. And we may not know it's our ancestor, but we see somebody, right, doing something and it triggers us. Triggers the wrong word. It resonates with us in some way, right? It pulls
Right.
us in some way and it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then it might get you started to feel into it's like, oh, this might be fun to try. This might be fun to do. Let me look into it some more, right?
Absolutely. And as you were saying that, what came to mind was sometimes when we've done the healing work, whether it's ancestral healing or any kind of healing, now we are in a position to receive those messages even more.
Yeah,
We're in a position to now receive that medicine even more. And so that medicine then shows up when we're ready for it.
yeah, absolutely. So, so they trust me when I say the healing is making a difference, right? So
Right.
all the inner
Oh,
work you are
absolutely.
doing is making a difference. You may not see it yourself right away, but I guarantee you it's making a difference on some level for sure. And when it's time, when it's, then it will show itself to you. So there's a question in the chat from Kathy, and she's asking, can we confuse our guides with our ancestors who help us?
You can. There is a little bit of confusion that sometimes can come through, but my first answer to that is it doesn't really matter as long as that information feels right to you,
Absolutely. I totally
right?
agree. Yeah.
And so it's okay either way. What I've noticed in my experience working with ancestors and guides is that the guides have the bigger picture. They know our purpose. They know why we came here. They actually are like the helicopter that can see for miles and miles and give us some guidance. Our ancestors are beings that walked this planet and lived this life, and they can help us walk the distance, right? They can help us because they know the immediate pitfalls, the problems, the challenges. They understand what we are experiencing and can give us guidance on how to overcome some of the things that may be interfering with our ability to really express our medicine and our gifts in the way that we would like to. So that's where a little bit of the difference is. But at the end of the day, if that guidance is guidance that is really feeling like it's empowering you, then it's okay. Don't worry about which one it is. But you can also ask, are you an ancestor? Are you a guide?
Mhm. Yeah,
And they may show up and tell you. And in some cases, they may say, what difference does it make? We're
exactly.
providing you with information. But it's a good question because people do ask me that quite a bit. And what I can say is the tools that I teach for connecting with the ancestors are the same ones that you can use to connect with your guides
Mhm. Yeah.
or any other spiritual being, really.
And so, when you talked about you can ask that guide if they're an ancestor or a guide, again, will come that will come to pass when you create a consistent relationship with your ancestors, right? Because
Yes,
if you've never spoken to them, if you've never talked to them, if you've never done anything with them, you're not even going to it's like they're so far away they can't even well, they always hear you, but we can't hear them, right? Because that
right.
channel is not clear. So can you talk a little bit about why a consistent relationship with our ancestors can offer guidance that we may not find outside in the outside systems or conventional planning? Because sometimes I think people, I don't know, why do people not create that relationship? I mean, it's the same with whether you're creating a relationship with your higher self or the angels or the guides, whatever, and your body and yourself. You need to create that relationship, right? You need to have that
That
make
relationship is the consistency
is
is
the
what's
key.
really important.
Yeah.
And if we think about it like any other relationship that we have, if we don't nurture the relationship, oftentimes that relationship will either dissolve or there's never a deeper connection. You think about the people that you feel most connected to. They're usually people that you have spent some kind of time with or invested your energy into. And those are the people that you feel most connected to. And that happens with your ancestors as well. The ancestors, the more you connect with them, the more they know that you want their guidance, that you want their support. The more they know that you're open to it, the more they can feed into you. The more ancestors that might even show up for you at different stages of your life. But having a consistent connection is what's most important for any of our spiritual connections.
Yeah.
Consistency is the key. And I think what happens sometimes is that it's something else to do. For some people, they just see it as something else I need to do, or I need to go and meditate for, an hour on the top of a hill in order for me to have that connection. And as you and I both know, that's not necessarily true. That day-to-day connection could be a 5-minute connection.
Yeah.
Some days it's going to be longer. I mean, there's some days when, I communicate with my ancestors and it's like a 10-minute thing. And I'm like, thank you, got the information, I'm out. Connect with you a little bit later. And then in some days it's been an hour or more where I'm continuously receiving the information that they want to share. Your relationship is the relationship that you build with your ancestors, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, changes from day to day. The key is consistency, consistency, consistency. And when you have that consistency, that's when you start to receive the deeper information. That's when you don't have to necessarily receive the information right at the time you're connecting. You
Yeah.
can connect with them in the morning and express that you need some clarity on something. And you may not get that clarity immediately, but you may then walk out into the world and that clarity comes through some interaction, through something you see, through something you experience, or just by being. Suddenly you're like, oh, that's it. Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so those ancestors can communicate with you in different ways, but consistency is the key, making sure that you're doing it on a regular basis.
And I just want to say really quickly too about that. It's like, yes, connect with them, right? Have that relationship with them. But that doesn't mean that every time you talk to them, you're asking them for information and guidance. I mean, to me, it's like I don't know. That feels really weird to me. It's like you're just, I mean, they are there for guidance and information, etc. But it's more about the relationship we have with a friend. Like, are you always going to be that needy friend that's always asking and asking and asking for stuff? So
Right, right. And sometimes we're not necessarily asking, we're just listening.
yeah.
We're listening. We're listening for what they want to share, for what they have for you, or just listening. And sometimes it's just a story that you receive.
But
And
even in the story, there's probably some sort of wisdom in there.
there is some wisdom in the story. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I love sharing the stories of the ancestors with people, because in the story, there's always some wisdom. If nothing else, I have found in sharing the stories, there's some comfort or some confirmation about why you may be feeling the way you do or experiencing the things that you're experiencing. But you are absolutely right. Constant asking is one thing. You can ask, but you also need to show up and listen.
Hmm.
And I will even say to them, what is it that I can do that uplifts our lineage? What is it next? What's next for me to do to uplift the lineage? Or, what is it that you see that I can do in my lived experience that can make a difference?
Hmm. And sometimes it's just that, yes, support and guidance is important, but just sometimes just being with them creates that relationship and that connection. It's like they're always there, yes, but we are not always there with them. We're focused on so many different things at the time.
Absolutely.
But I think that being with them, because I'm just that type of person. I hardly ever ask anybody anything. I just like to be in the energy in that space, right? Holding space with them. But that creates to me a connection as well, a greater connection. And through that, I think also healing takes place. There's a shift in your energy that takes place when you are just being with your ancestors or guides or whoever, right? Because you're in that heightened vibration and frequency.
What I have noticed is in the beginning, when you're first starting to connect, it is oftentimes about sharing what your needs are, what you're experiencing, what's happening. And then the relationship shifts into listening, into just being, into waking up in the morning and saying, thank you for your sacrifices, and, sharing your gratitude with them. It shifts over time, but if we start with letting them know kind of where we are and what we're experiencing and what we're needing help with, they can show up in a way that doesn't make it so that they have to do kind of a hit or miss on what
Mhm.
we're needing and what we're experiencing. But I agree with you 100%. It's not only about asking, it's not only about receiving from them, but it's also about just being with them as well.
And I think it's important to remember that if it wasn't for them, we would not be here. So, besides all the gifts and the wounding and all of that, if they did not exist, we would not be here. So we should be offering them gratitude because even if our life is miserable, it's not going to be miserable 24/7 every single moment. There are times, yes, but for the greater part of our lives, it is about learning and growing and expanding in consciousness, but we would not have that opportunity, that chance if they did not exist and be who they were.
Right. And sometimes we are so focused on the wounding that we forget that we need to be grateful for who they are. Now, the other thing that happens too is when we're talking about ancestors, sometimes people think, well, I didn't have a good relationship with my grandmother or my mother or my great grandmother or whatever. You can bypass them until you're ready to do the healing work or until they're at a point where the healing work will take effect.
Mhm.
You can bypass them because guess what? You have generations and generations and generations of ancestors that you can build a relationship with. It doesn't have to be with your most recently deceased parent or sibling. And I find that sometimes people get really caught up in, well, I didn't have a relationship with those people, or I was adopted, and so I don't want anything to do with, my biological parents because, they left me, or my parents were abusive, or my grandparents were abusive. So these people don't, so they don't want to have a connection with their ancestors. There are so many more ancestors in your family lineage that are healthy, heal, and whole than there are wounded.
Mm.
There are so many ancestors that may have contributed to who your parents or grandparents were that have now healed and can provide you with some support and guidance in healing for the experiences that you had with your parents, even before you do any healing work with them. Oftentimes, I work with clients, we don't ever touch on their parental experiences if they weren't positive. We don't even go there. We actually go and work with the ancestors that are saying, you know what, I'm here. I want to support you. I'm here to walk this journey with you. Those ancestors will tell me who they are, what their gifts are, how they use their gifts, and how they can now pass this on and support the client with utilizing those gifts to move forward, to clear anything that needs to be cleared without ever having contact with the ancestor that they had the challenges with.
Mm.
If at some point we want to go back and experience that, we can, but it's not a requirement. So I think that sometimes gets in the way of people making that connection as well because they don't want to connect. I've had clients say to me, well, I don't want to connect with my father because he was this, and this.
Yeah.
Well, when we build a relationship with the ancestors, we can say, you know what, I don't want that connection. Right
Yeah.
now, that connection would not be beneficial to me. And you don't have to have that connection. But guess what? Your great great grandfather, 7 generations back, may have some really beautiful wisdom for you on how to now take what is already in you and create something that brings you additional joy.
Mm. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you. And and that's the same thing with, and I keep comparing a little bit with, guides and all that
Yeah,
stuff, because when we are connecting with our guides, angels, etc., we're always asking for the highest light, vibration, or frequency who can help us the most. So it's the same thing with the ancestors. Who can help us the most? The ancestor who is the highest vibration frequency and is available, who wants to help, right? At the
right.
same time, right? So it's not necessarily who we think, but it's consciously, but it can be whoever the highest vibration frequency is if at this time. And we don't access all the guides that are available in the universe. We access those ones that can help us in this moment for who we are and what we're going through in life. So it's the same thing with the ancestors.
Yes, absolutely. It is the same exact thing with the ancestors. They can We want to connect with the ones that have wisdom, guidance, knowledge, the ability to create open spaces where there seem to be no path. We want to connect with the most loving and kind. Those are the ancestors that we want to have a deep relationship with.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's important that we have that connection with that higher energy. I call them the ascended ancestors.
Right.
These are the ancestors that have gone through the process of looking over their lives and seeing what worked, what didn't work. They've atoned for any hurt and harm and wounds that they may have created. And now they're ready to help from a totally different space. Then there's the astral ancestors who are somewhat stuck in that place still. They haven't quite moved past that. And sometimes they need our help. And sometimes we don't need to be the ones to help them. We can actually say to, great 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 grandmother, you have a descendant that's stuck over there, you know. Can you come and help this person out? This is, my mother might be stuck over there. Can you help my mom out? That
Mhm.
kind of thing. We can have those kinds of conversations with the ancestors. But we want to have the deepest connections with the ones that can most provide us with the best relationships, the best guidance, the best support that we can possibly have. And we
Absolutely.
don't necessarily have to spend a whole lot of time with those that are hurt and
Mhm.
wounded and are not ready.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just not ready. And oftentimes, when we're connecting with ancestors too, people want to immediately connect with a deceased loved one. And it's like, okay, my aunt died, 2 months ago, and I want to connect with my aunt. And usually I tell people, give them time, let them move through the process,
Mhm.
let them become ascended. And usually they will, and oftentimes, if you've set the intention that you want to have that connection with them, after about a year after they've left the earth, they initiate contact. They will come and they will want to spend time with you at that point. If they've, ascended,
Mhm.
they want to come and spend time with you.
Yeah, so there was a question in the chat from Edie, and she said, "I just lost my son in a drowning, and I'm so sorry, Edie.
So sorry,
My heart
Edie.
goes out to you." And
Yes.
could he be my ancestor even though he's my son?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our ancestors are those family members who are living in the spirit world, no matter what age. Even a baby can be an ancestor. I mean, oftentimes we think of our ancestors and the pictures of our ancestors are always, older people, older than we are,
Yeah.
but that isn't necessarily true. We can have ancestors that are younger, and those are really beautiful relationships too, because they bring a youthful wisdom into our lives that maybe we don't have. They can actually make and help with connections with the younger generation. I have a client where she has an ancestor. She's in her late 70s, and she has an ancestor that was a nephew who died when he was late 20s and was, I mean, just when it came to technology, just loved technology, and he was always teaching family members and the elders in the family. And when she's struggling with technology, that's who she connects with. She'll connect with him. And what she has noticed is that when she makes that connection, and this was after we did some work to make sure he was ready for this, when she makes that connection, the resources show up for what she needs. They just start to show up. The people show up, the resources show up, the natural wisdom and knowing how to navigate technology begins to show up. That's the power of these relationships.
And I remember you shared something like that about your father, because whenever you would have any issues going on with the house or with the car or something, he would come through and give you information, or you would you would receive the resources or support, people, etc., would come through to help, you know.
Yes, absolutely. My father was one that if he couldn't fix it, it couldn't be repaired. That man could fix anything. And people in the community would, oh, this happened, Mr. Hunt, can you help me with this? And if he couldn't fix it, it just couldn't be repaired. And I've never had, prior to his passing, I'd never had a mechanic because he did, everything with my car. Never had to have a plumber because he was a pipe fitter. Never had to have an electrician because he also was a retired electrician. And early on, he's the one that actually did all of my computer stuff. I mean, early on when we were doing dial-ups, he was hosting my website.
Oh, wow.
you know, so all of that were, things that he did, and I never had to go outside of that. And when we had a plumbing problem, I was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Because I know that unfortunately there are times when people who come in to do work, if you don't know what's going on, then And a lot of times people will assume that I don't, but growing up with my father and having a degree in construction engineering really helps.
Yep.
And they'll come in and they will, oftentimes, electrician we had do that, will say things that I know are not true. And so I said, Dad, I need a plumber. We need a plumber. And I brought up a list of plumbers in my area on the computer. And I said, Dad, I'm going to close my eyes. You guide my finger to the one to call. Boom. Okay. So I call. He said, I'll tell you what you can do right now to stop the problem, and then I'll be there in the morning. So I did exactly what he did, is stop the problem. He came in the morning, he fixed everything, asked if there was anything else that we needed help with. I told him, oh, by the way, there's this going on. Let me go ahead and have that done too. When he got finished, he handed me his card, and his name was Angel.
Mm.
And so it was I felt like, okay, Dad sent an angel to come and help us. And I've had him come back and do, some upgrades and things like that over the years. And he's always been fair, he's kind, he's honest, and it's really nice. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
that's how, and when I do have someone come in to do work in my home, I always connect with my father and say, okay, give me the wisdom that I need to decide and make decisions about what is being recommended to me. And there was, the electrician that came in that was telling me all kinds of stuff that I knew and felt intuitively wasn't right. And I just, in the moment, as he's talking, I said, okay, Dad. And my father said, get him out of there. I said, okay, bye. Get out. Get out.
I love
So
that.
yeah, the ancestors can help us in that way too. And it's not just, what are we doing with our life, but little tasks, right? Little tasks. And um, bring, connect with the ancestors that have the expertise. You may have a writer in your family lineage.
Hmm.
And it may even be somebody that's not in your family lineage. It could actually be someone that you just admire. Connect with them. Let them know that you're a writer. Write a story to them, right?
Wow.
Write
Yep.
about what you want to do, what you want to create. What about their writing is meaningful to you? Write a letter to them, put it on the altar, and just allow them to start to have a connection with you that supports what you want to do.
Mm.
Receive that wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Thank you. And we're going to share more wonderful tips, and we're going to take some live caller questions in just a minute. I just want to get through the two or three more little points, and then we'll take some more questions from the chat
Sure.
and live callers, of course, because we love that. Um, so just really quickly, I had a question about how the Bloodline Codex, and we talked about the blood and we talked about DNA, how that can reveal the inherited wisdom, gifts, and medicine that have been present throughout your life. So we've been talking around this, but it's the first time you've shared about the Bloodline Codex. Can you share a little bit more?
Yes, I sure can. About 10 years ago, the ancestors started sharing with me about the ancestral medicines and the different ways it shows up in the lineage. It was something that I had experienced with them even prior to that, but it really started to show up where I was receiving little wisdom about it and then working with my clients and sharing with my clients. And then over the last couple of years, it's become more of a form because the ancestors said people need to see it, not just hear it, but actually see it. And the codex includes the ancestral medicine from all four of your bloodlines. So we're looking at your mother's parents and your father's parents and their lineage lines. And what is the common medicine on each of those lines? Who are the ancestors right now that are ready to support you, ready to walk with you, ready to help you, and have wisdom for you that you can begin to work with? It also includes the ancestors who may be interfering with your full expression of that medicine, not in a mean and evil way that some people will think of, but our ancestors who experience wounds by sharing their gifts, their medicine, oftentimes want to protect us from experiencing the same thing that they experience. So we need to work with them to let them know we're okay. This is a different time. We can do this. You may have ancestors that were stoned to death for doing the work that you're doing now. Those ancestors want to protect you. They want to keep you from experiencing the things that they experience. So we begin to understand if there are any ancestors in your lineage that are having those experiences and are interfering with your ability to express what it is that you want to express consciously or unconsciously. And that's all included in there. And then we take a look at how can you express this now? What is it that how can you use this wisdom to create a legacy of some sort if that's what you want? Or maybe you have a business offer that you want to create. Maybe you want to be a leader, do some kind of leadership in the community, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit, or whatever it is that you want to do. We now take a look at everything that's in the codex, the Bloodline Codex. We look at that and then look at how can you apply it to where you are now and the next steps you have or want to take in your life. So it's evolved over the years, and the people who have received them, I'm getting such incredible feedback from them about how it has changed the way they receive guidance and how they fully step into the next chapter of their lives. Because many of the people that come to me are people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, who are looking at life a little bit different. They don't really want to be in that rat race anymore. They don't want to work on jobs where they don't feel satisfied, where they're just showing up and doing the job day in and day out. They want something different. Many of these women are women who have been extremely successful doing the work that they're doing, and now they're ready to do something different. They want to do something new and different, but it doesn't necessarily, as we've talked before, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to start a business. It just means that they want to share their gifts in a different way. And they're looking for what that looks like. And they're not sure. Oftentimes, they're not able to quite tap into what it is. Some people know for a long time that they've been feeling called to do some spiritual work, but they haven't really figured out what does that look like. The Blue Bloodline Codex gives you a map of what that could look like for you and how to now step into that fully. So that's the Bloodline
Awesome.
Codex.
Awesome. Thank you. Wow, that sounds amazing. I love it. And it's even like our parents, they came together for okay, it's what they needed for their life, for their soul's purpose, right? And then we chose them as parents because of to support us in our purpose, our soul's purpose of what we wanted to experience or um, access in this lifetime. So it's going to be important to look at those lineages just to see because I can definitely see quite clearly from with my dad for sure. My dad and his mom, like such a straight connection. I can definitely see the relationship. My mom, I can't really see it, but there's must be a reason there, right? There must be something there that is connecting us. I see my mom, but I'm like and her dad, and then I don't know, I can see a little bit, but I think I have a stronger um, line going from between
That's
me and my
common.
dad and my mother and his mother, right?
That's common. We may have one that's stronger than the other.
Yeah.
I agree with you. For me, it's grandmothers on both sides. Their
Mhm.
mothers are the ones that I feel the most connected to.
So it'll be
But
different for each person, right? But
it can be different for each person. And the other thing too is it doesn't mean that there isn't wisdom from those other bloodlines.
Yeah.
It just means that those are the ones that we feel most connected to, maybe because sometimes it's because if there's like two, they're very similar. The medicines are similar, so you'll
Yeah.
feel that strength. But the medicine from all of those lines can be really powerful for you.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
may have a healer and a teacher, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so there may be some teaching and healing that come into it. One client, she had a healer, a teacher, and a person who created music. And basically, she now has brought all of that together and she does healing sounds.
Mm.
And it's very different because she's actually listening to your voice and then she's creating these healing sounds.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So there's different ways that those, but she always felt more connected with the teacher healer
Got
until
it.
she found out about the musician.
Right. Yeah. So there may be other gifts that I'm not recognizing, right? That my the other ancestors had in those four lineages that I'm not recognizing, but they're there, right? But you know, I mean, I can see it a little bit, but um, must be something there. That's why, that's why they are our ancestors. There's gifts as well as healing, right? But there's
Right.
both. So it's not just wounds, it's also gifts. So one of the things I want to ask, and this is, for myself as well, and other people who have been on these types of shows before, but when a question keeps coming up over and over again to you, or like a desire, or that keeps coming up, could that be inviting deeper ancestral guidance or focused healing around an inherited story? So what I mean by this is, like, I remember one of my clients, for example, she wants to create a retreat center, for example, right? And she's been wanting to do it for a long time, for
Mhm.
years, and she still hasn't done it, but it keeps coming up, keeps coming up. And for me, I've always wanted to write a book, and I've started it many times, but but then it keeps coming up that there's something there. So, can you talk a little bit about that? Because these are questions about around, can I, should I, this is a desire. Is it mine? Is it somebody else's, kind of thing? All these questions come up, I think, right?
Yes. When you know the difference between, or how to know the difference between, is it outside of me or is it in me? If it keeps coming up in different ways.
Yeah.
For instance, if, the writing of the book, you may be getting different ideas on the writing of the book. You may experience something with someone and go, oh, I should write about that. Or something else happens, you're like, oh, I could write about that. Sometimes we dismiss it because there's like a lack of clarity. But if it keeps coming up and coming up and coming up, it's not external, it's internal. It's a message that you're getting from within.
Mm.
And your ancestors, so your soul may be repeating it, and your ancestors are now feeding into it to kind of guide you to maybe the ancestor in your family lineage who was a writer. Maybe that ancestor is, continuously coming up, letting you know that, you can write about this, you can write about this. Maybe there's an ancestor who wrote and somehow got rejected that is now trying to protect you. And you're being guided to do some work to help that ancestor release so that ancestor can help you with your writing. When the message continuously shows up in different forms, in different ways, in your dreams, when you're walking, when you're having a conversation, when you're listening to music, when you're just being, and it keeps coming up, there's something there. So I can imagine with your client who wants to open, this retreat center, this place for people to come. There's some fear that's keeping that from happening, but there's probably some ancestral guidance that's guiding her to do something. And it doesn't necessarily mean that she's being guided to open up this huge retreat center, but she's being guided to create a space for healing, however that looks. It could be a Zoom space, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But she's feeling guided to make it something else. And that's okay too, right? But when we keep getting the same messages in different forms and different ways coming up over and over, and different experiences, like one client was saying that she did some work years ago. In fact, one of them, she was telling me that she was very involved in the law of attraction years and years and years ago. And she started writing a book about her experiences. And then the book came out, The Secret. And she was just knocking herself on her head, going, I could have written this book. I could have written this book. And she kept getting all of these ideas for the book. And she even came over one time and she brought me all of the things that she'd written, and we were kind of reading through them. And it was amazing how similar they were to some of the other books that are out there. But for some reason, she just never really completely moved forward with it. And that had to do with her own, she was getting in her own way in
Mhm.
that. But the ancestors, her guides, her soul was guiding her in that direction. And so these messages will continue to come through, and we'll get little wisdoms, and sometimes we just kind of suppress them, put them down. They don't make any sense. We don't know how to do anything with it. So we try to ignore it, but it's still there. And it'll keep coming in different forms until you actually do something with it. Or you leave the planet without doing anything with it. But that won't stop it. It'll continue to come.
Yeah. And so it's okay if you do leave the planet without doing it, whatever that happens to be, you'll just do it in
Absolutely.
your next life.
Yep. Or
Maybe.
you'll be that ancestor that's helping someone else do it. Because as I say, we are all ancestors in training.
Mm.
Let's get it right now so that we can be of service later on.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, then that's okay. You can pass it on to the next generation and be a support and an ally for them to carry it forward,
Mhm.
whichever person feels called to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. We are all ancestors in training,
Mhm,
right? Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And
mhm.
so we can obviously carry more than one ancestral gift that may be needing our attention. So we all carry many gifts, right? So let's be honest about that. We carry many gifts, just like we carry many wounds, etc., stories, etc. But how many of those gifts need your attention so that they can come out into the world and be shared and expressed, right?
And not all of them do.
Mm.
In fact, for most of us, we don't have time in this lifetime to do all of them. But they sometimes feed into each other, like the client that I talked about that had the music and the healer and the teacher and what she created.
Yeah.
Sometimes they all form one thing. You can be the teacher and you can be the musician, and maybe you're teaching music. So there's
Mhm.
different ways that they can all come in and work together, or it may be that you just work with one. You may be a teacher and then also have this healing gift. You may be a seer, or you may be that peacemaker. And basically, you come in and you create peace through music, or you create peace through healing, or you create peace just by being.
Yeah.
So sometimes we can pull all of them together and they naturally flow together. And sometimes we're feeling inspired to do just one. And you know what? 10 years from now, we may decide, you know what? We've done that one and now we're ready to pick up this other one. We're ready to, I have a client who's a midwife, and she has been for many, many years. And she's really looking at, where do I go from here because I want to do something different. And we have some healer in, some guidance, counselor type ancestors, medicine that shows up. And she's actually thinking about going back and becoming a counselor
Mm.
because that's what she wants to do. And what she's noticed is many of the women that she's worked with, they're along over the years have had some mental health stuff that she feels that she would be able to work with as it pertains to childbirth and getting pregnant and that kind of thing. So
Mm.
you may
Awesome.
decide along the way that there's something different that you use it with.
For sure. Yeah. I was also thinking just yesterday, I was thinking, should I go back to school? Should I get another degree? Should I do my master's? It's like, mm, it's a thought at the moment, because
I get it. I get it.
I'm very busy to begin with. It's like, do I have that energy and time to do that? It's like, oh, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I know is however you show up is going to be powerful. Always is.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
whatever
Okay.
you do with it, whether it's just for the learning, because I think that's the other thing,
I love
in
to.
our society, we don't do it for the learning a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? We're doing, and of course, because it takes an investment, you have to think about it from that perspective. But wouldn't it be nice if people could just go and learn for the sake of learning?
Yeah. I love to learn. I'm one of those seekers. I love to learn everything,
Me
and
too.
I always have so many questions, and so I definitely definitely would love to. For me, I would love to just go and do neuroscience is what I would love to do.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
But
I actually am taking a brain fitness class
mm,
that I've been taking for since the pandemic. And it's
okay,
offered
wow.
by a community college and every semester. And neuroscientists are teaching the classes. And I see why you have that fascination with it. It's incredible.
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. So I'll have to think about it. I don't know right now. It's like I will see. Okay. Anyways, I digress. But this is just one of those things, right? That it keeps coming up, right? So is there, but I'm also learning many things along like at other things right now anyways as well. So I may not go to university again, but I may be learning like as I am doing right now, many things.
Right? You may be learning about neuroscience, but not necessarily becoming a
For
neuroscientist.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. So that's an example for everyone. All
Hmm.
right. So I'm going to just share my screen for a quick second and then we will take some live caller questions. So if you do have a question, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. A lot of people have written in the chat already. So we will be taking those questions as well. Let me just share my screen so we can talk about the packages. You should
Yeah.
be able to see my screen. So Dr.MoNique has two packages, the Conjure Connection 21, which is a 21-day sacred journey to deepen your relationship with your ancestors and hear their guidance more clearly. And then package B is everything in package A plus a ancestral guidance circle. So we'll talk about that. So Dr.MoNique, let's talk about package A first, Conjure Connection 21. I love
Yes,
this.
yes. Conjure Connection 21 is the space that I created. It's a sacred space for people to begin that connection with their ancestors or to deepen the connection with their ancestors. As we've talked about here, about the importance of having a consistent connection, well, that's exactly what this does. Over a 21-day period, each day you'll receive a practice that you can do or a journaling question that you can do that will take you 5 to 10 minutes at the most. However, you can go deeper and spend more time with it if you want to. You'll receive it on a daily basis and it'll help you have and begin that connection with your ancestors, strengthen it, deepen it, and build that relationship that's needed. There's weekly healing meditation. So if there is a particular ancestral story that is showing up. You'll have healing meditations that can help you. There's connection journeys where you'll be able to listen to a journey and connect with your ancestors for guidance, wisdom, find out who it is that wants to work with you. These are deep journeys that will open up your ability to have a deeper conversation with your ancestors. And so, as we have here, the reflection prompts or what we talked about, that's sort of the journaling that you can do. It is self-paced, so you can move through this at your own rhythm. Let's say you miss a day or you're not able to do it for a couple of days because you're traveling. That's okay. You can go back and continue that experience. You'll have actually, I have a 30-day access, but I just changed it to 60 days because I realized that maybe people want to go through it twice. Maybe
Mhm.
it'll take you 25 days to get through it and you want to go back and be able to do it again. So you'll have 60 days to go through this as many times as you want and go back to the practices that are the most meaningful for you. And that will begin your practice. And then there's a private community space where you'll be able to interact as well.
Mhm. I love it. I think this is such a brilliant community offering that you've created for people who, who are not already working with their ancestors, but also for those who already are, for them to help them to go deeper and give them even more clarity and more guidance and just more connection. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. And the other thing that people find as they go through this journey is that it also deepens their connection with their guides too.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
an added benefit.
awesome. I love it. Thank you. So there's lots of more information here on the page that you can check out as well. And so this Conjure Connection 21 is package A, $67. And of course, if you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. And then package B is everything in package A plus the Ancestral Guidance Circle. So what is that?
The Ancestral Guidance Circle is a small group gathering. There'll be no more than 6 people in the group. Each person in the group has an opportunity to ask a question. You can ask a question of your ancestors and receive guidance and inspiration, information, find out who the ancestor is that's walking with you right now, how to connect with that ancestor and deepen your communication with the ancestor. That's why it goes really well and pairs well with the Conjure Connection 21 because there'll be some different practices in there where you'll be able to specifically connect with the ancestor that's walking with you right now. And so this is a small group, as I said, that gives you an opportunity to ask a question. What's powerful about doing this as a group is when the ancestors speak for one person, there's usually some wisdom that you'll receive from someone else's ancestors that'll kind of trigger okay, that applies to me, or that's a practice that I can use, or that's something that I can do. And that's why I host this as a group, because not only do you personally benefit from the connection to your ancestors and your bloodline, but you also can benefit from the information that's shared by other ancestors. So this circle allows us to have a deeper connection with those ancestors and get some wisdom and guidance.
Mhm.
We're lightly going to touch on this today when I'll answer some questions, but when we're actually in the ancestral guidance circle, it's a much deeper experience where you really get information that is most accurate and important for you right now.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And yeah, it goes much deeper, it's much fuller. And again, you're getting the wisdom from six different questions or six different ancestors coming forward as well. So that's package B. So again, there is a payment plan available for that. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. Some wonderful testimonials and feedback from folks who have worked with Dr.MoNique in the past, so please check those out on the special offer page. And of course, there's the bio for Dr.MoNique as well. So again, these two packages are available. Package A is the Conjure Connection 21 for $67. And package B, which is the Conjure Connection 21 plus the Ancestral Guidance Circle for $177. There is a payment plan available for package B, but for both of them, if you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code as well. I love that. I love I love both packages, but definitely I have to say I love the Conjure Connection 21, especially for people like me who haven't really connected with our ancestors that much. Guides, angels, galactics, etc. Yes, but not the ancestors that much, right? So
Right.
But again, like you said, even for those of us who are connecting with, you know, guides, angels, galactic, etc., that would this 21-day journey process offer whatever can help both, not just connecting with the ancestors. So I love that. Thank you.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I'll also say in there, August 27th is the Ancestral Guidance Circle. If someone is interested in that package and August 27th doesn't work, they just need to send me a message and let me know, and we'll pop them into the next date.
Okay, awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to take some live caller questions and we're going to go back and answer some of the questions from the chat as well, so not to worry. So Marlene has had her hand raised for a long time. So Marlene, you want to unmute? Let me do that. You should be able to unmute now.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi,
Well,
Marlene.
oh, hi. Well, really, I'm making 70 this year, and it's the time,
Congratulations.
thank you, and it's the time when we start looking at eternity, you know. So what it is fascinating from me since Roman times is that of the altar of the ancestors, it was a ritual practice. And I think it really connects with your soul purpose, as you have mentioned, Shefali. And when you know where you are going and where to, obviously you stay focused because you're not alone anymore. So you have less doubt to manifest or to do something. I came to that quite unconsciously because for instance, I give you an example. My mom and dad, they were linked with the hotel industry. So I'm going to open an B&B this year as a tribute to them. Okay, so that's the way I have a legacy. I honor my ancestors in that manifestation, and I will do the same to others. And keeping the spirit mind of my grandmother from my father's line. But it doesn't mean for me, I'm not going to exploit it. Okay, I'm just going to sell it afterwards, but it has been a landmark, it has been a tribute. Okay. So I think that what they could not fulfill while they were living, and my father would love to have their own, I have done it now as a kind of a concept of, you know what, a business on hand, and then just to have everything done and just sell it as business, including the property and everything. So I have these, I have two or more, three more to do, and then I have to turn to my spiritual path in my own way. But I know that if I'm searching for my soul purpose, obviously I'm embedded with my legacy and my ancestor line. I know that, and if I do perform that, the status of flow creates immediately. It's quite easy. Um, I mean, lots of obstacles that we face will they will just they will just do everything for us to match everything and go ahead. I tell you because I am a late manifester. I've been working for everybody all my life, but now it is quite easy. The state of flow has since you have a clarity and a precise notion of what you are doing, it will just suddenly, all the angels and saints and whatever, all the guides and every divine entity will help you to do that because it's written, as we might say.
Yes,
So
when you are setting an intention to do something, they will conspire to help
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
And
and
the,
it's
the one of the mess
as the Arabs say, maktub. It's written, so it's highly protected because it's something that no evil mind can touch because it's sacred. That's what I feel.
yeah. And and you were saying searching for your purpose. I mean, clearly there are so many things that you're doing that are part of your soul's expression. So I think your search is over. And
Thank you.
there's no search needed. There are a number of things that you're doing that definitely are an expression. And what if part of your next step is holding that altar for the next generation?
Yes, and that's what I'm going to do now because I'm linking with the divine feminine, as Shefali is as well. So I'm going to work on my mother's lineage with the circles of women and just try to make an investigation about my mythology, archaeological mythology in Portugal, because, well, we were the Celts and we came to England, okay? So it's different. Now Oxford really accepts it. So there is a tradition of a mythology or a kind of a soul from dating back from the ancestor times, which is very, very powerful. So we need to reactivate that kind of link. And doing that with circles on women and mixing that with the women entrepreneurship, because it's the only way that we have our autonomy, is to make our own footprint in a way and get our independence. That's the way I'm going to forward to. I don't
So
know if
you're
I'm going to do it.
holding,
Yeah,
you're the keeper
yeah,
of the lineage.
yes,
You're
yes.
passing
Even
this
with
on.
even with the sense, even with the Catholic sense, it's quite easy. You start to denude them, okay? And we going back to the ancestor times where you
Mhm.
have, for instance, we have lots of saints linked with the sea. So when you start to denude those costumes of the cultures, of the different cultures they have to survive and pass their energy through, we're going back to Nabia, for instance, which is a very, very, or to Ophiusa, which is that it's similar to the Crete goddess of the snake. Okay, so and Portugal is very rich on that because it's surrounded by sea and has a lot of capes, so it has a lot of energy between the old and the new world, as we might say. So we have capes directly to North America and to Central America and to South America as well. So
That's exciting.
energetically is very, very powerful. So that's what I'm turning to now. But I
Yes.
had the need, and I felt the need of making this kind of tributes to my ancestors with some manifestation, business manifestation, like a kind of a landmark or a memory title or whatever. And
Mhm.
even the place where I live, I was I had my the lady of this place was a seer, so I have made a kind of a little house, which is the house of the seer, to honor her and her legacy and her presence here. So
That's
Beautiful.
wherever
great.
I go, yeah, wherever I go, I just I search always for the roots because it's
And
a way
Beautiful.
of
that's
being
why you no
grounded.
longer need to say that you're searching for your purpose
You already
because
found
you're
it.
living it.
Yeah.
You're living
Yeah,
it. And I
and
think oftentimes we're searching for something based on other people's definition of what purpose is. But clearly, as you're sharing, there's so many things, ancestral wise, your ancestors are leaving in your hands the continuation of the traditions, of the information, holding the altar for the next generations,
yeah,
preserving the
and
information
there
for the
is
next
something
generation.
very, very private that I want to tell you. I had the notice of the passing of my mother by a medium 1 year prior to her death. So
Mhm.
I had the blessing of making the passage with her and building well, helping her to do this passage. And she had a very difficult relationship with my grandmother from my mother's line. And I told her, she's my hero because she was the woman of the silence. Okay, so she was victimized, and she's my hero because she had the most difficult thing in life, and she had to have a second marriage with a man that she didn't love. Everything. So it was, and she was very, very serene. She was incredible stoic, as we might say so. And one of the things that my mother surprised me is that when she told my son that she would like to be buried with my grandmother.
Mhm.
So she has healed that gap,
Mhm.
and
Beautiful.
I just knew that she had passed for her funeral. So you see, and I said, "Oh gosh, great." So I am when people say, "Well, I don't want to speak with my father because it was difficult." It's always, if you are really centered, it's always a way of making the healing between the generations, and just do not create any. gaps between the transmission of the, as the Orientals say, you inherit the spirit of your mom. Okay. So, especially the mothers, obviously. So, I'm in my own way, I'm a father's doctor. Okay. I'm an ethnologist, you might say so. But, and I had lots of difficulties with my mom, but I'm very, very glad because we could solve it while she was alive. But
That's wonderful.
yes, I'm very blessed, Shefali. But
Mm.
it is very, very, I do understand that you have to have your own time to heal yourself. But when you heal yourself, you always see that you are the continuation of your lineage,
Right,
you know.
absolutely.
And so it's a question of time. It's a question of you getting yourself to space to be able to create that bridge.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
say
I love
so.
that. Thank
And
you.
for
And
some people, it comes easily and
Yeah, and
quickly,
sometimes
and
we
for
have to
other
wait.
people, it takes
Be-
time.
yeah,
Yes, because we have our own rhythms, so it's
Yeah,
natural.
yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh,
Thank
Thank
thank you
you
you.
so
for
much. It
sharing.
was,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Marlene. Yeah, and good luck with everything
Yeah,
that you're doing. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Thank you for sharing
yeah.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I was just going to share a question from Rhonda in the chat. She said, I would love to hear your insights on grounding and protection practices and connecting with your ancestors.
Absolutely. Same thing that you would do for connecting with any spiritual being. Set the intention that you're connecting with the most loving and kind beings, that those are the ones that you want to have that interaction with. The other thing that I encourage people to do is ask for the guardian ancestor. That guardian ancestor is the ancestor that can support you with creating connections with the ancestors that can most serve, support, offer guidance and inspiration, and who want to have relationships with you, who have information on how you may be able to carry forward the medicine in your family lineage, as Marlene was mentioning when she spoke and shared. That is a part of the grounding that you do. And really, like I said, setting the intention that you're connecting and asking to connect with the highest, most loving, ascended ancestors. And those are the ancestors that will come through. Now, sometimes you may have an ancestor who is dealing with some wounds that will come through. It doesn't mean that they're going to come and harm you or do anything negative to you. It may mean that the wisdom that they're sharing is not supportive right now, or it could be that they are sharing something that helps you to know how to best help them as well. So those are some of the things that you can do. And Shafali may have some other things that she encourages people to do when they connect as well.
No, I think what you said was great, but it is always important to clear your field before you're connecting to ground,
Absolutely.
etc., and be in your heart space, right? And come
Mhm.
from that place of being empowered, not lack and scarcity. So even though we may be asking our ancestors questions or our guides or angels, always remember that they are equals. They're not greater than us. They're not less than us. They're equal. They have wisdom that they can share with us, or information that they can share with us that can help us, but that does not make them any better or worse. Don't put them up on a pedestal. Okay, so don't forget how magnificent and valuable and important and gifted and powerful you are in the whole
Mhm.
process as well.
I like that. Don't put them on a pedestal. And that's so important because oftentimes we feel that they have more wisdom than we do. They have different wisdom than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Ours
And
is lived, theirs is lived, and it is what they have experienced being spiritual beings. But not one is better than the other. They're just different.
exactly. And maybe they have access to something that we don't because,
Right. Absolutely.
that's all it is. They just have access to something different than
Absolutely.
we do
I like that.
at this moment.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful.
All right. Sarah, you have a question? I'm gonna get you to unmute.
Um, well, first, Shafali, I wanted to say that I'm always going back to school in my dreams and getting another degree. Like sometimes I have to do math and it's like, no, I can't
I
do.
know, right? Like no math, no statistics, please.
But my question actually, well, two things I wanted to comment on, which is that the work we are doing now on uh, in so many ways with our epigenetic history and with our own blocks and the things that also come from our past lives. So I think I tend to mix those up, the past lives and the ancestors. And I don't know a lot about my ancestors. My grandmother made it out on the second try from Eastern Europe in around 1900. And I know that she and her sister were just, young teenagers, and they had to do it by themselves because the rest of the family had already gone with the baby. Um, so I know they had to have so much courage. I often wonder if I would have, but I think so. Anyway, so the work that we're doing now to let go of this epigenetic stuff, it's part of the reason that I'm so concentrated on it is to free my children and my grandchildren from that. And have I also heard that you can clear injuries to your ancestors and your parents and grandparents when you're erasing or healing some of that work?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what you're doing more of when you're doing that. You're focusing more on clearing the energy from the ancestors, which then impacts your children, grandchildren, and future generations. So the real work you're doing is with the ancestors.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So my second question, although I feel like there's a little piece of that I just missed. Oh yeah, because some of it seems to come from past lives,
Mhm.
and some of it when I was in a different family, unless, our soul group has been reincarnating together for a long
It
time.
has.
It
Yes.
has. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess you're just kind of working on everything at once when
Yep.
you're doing that. So the other question I have is in the morning after I ground, I clear, I call on my angels, my spirit guides, my loved ones on the other side, ascended masters, etc., etc. I have been thanking my loved ones who have passed, which unfortunately is a long list of my dearest friends. And so, what extra should I do? Should I just address them and thank them and ask them if they have any wisdom or direction for me that they can share?
There's a couple of things you can do, and yes to all of that, right? The other thing that you can do is oftentimes we think we have to do the healing. You can ask the ancestors at Healthy, Heal, and Whole to support the others with their ascension and allow them to do that healing with those ancestors, right? So if you identify things within your family lineage that you see showing up, like there could be some anger or, there's several stories that I work with, betrayal, anger, abuse, scarcity. There could be some of these stories, grief, shame, lack, those things that are coming up that you see in your family lineage. And you can write a letter to the ancestors. You can put it on an altar and say, these are the things that I see that are happening in my family that, seem to be showing up from generation to generation. And what I'd like is to work with the ancestors that are most in tune with releasing these stories from our family lineage.
Okay.
And then you can say, and I'd like, to invite those ancestors to work with me to release and help the other ancestors that are still holding on to these family stories.
Okay. A movie just premiered Sunday that I am in, and
Mm,
it was about calling
congratulations.
an elder, wise person everyone loved, but who had a very dark shadow side, on his stuff, and how the women I was with at the time we'd met for 6 months to plan this, just said, this is your issue. Sorry, go in the other room and talk to him if you want. And the people, there was a gasp. It got the biggest reaction in the movie. And the thing was that all the women came up to me afterward and say, did you ever speak to those women again who'd planned this for so long and then they forced you to stand alone? I said, well, I understood their fear and their other stuff. And actually, yeah, I still know those people and I've been friendly with them. It's not my work to try and correct them. So they said, how did you do that? I said, well, I think in my past life I was a prophet and I needed to speak up here. So that just opened. I hope it'll do some good.
Yes. Yeah. Well, absolutely, it'll do some good. Absolutely, it'll do
One
some
last
good.
thing is that you had told me to light 4 candles for my ancestors. This is like 3 or 4 years ago, and I did it for a long time until I got run over by a truck and ended up in the hospital.
Oh
And by the time
no.
I got home from the hospital and rehab, all my little altar had disappeared. Do you feel like that's something I should resume doing?
The work that I'm sensing from the ancestors that you're being called to do now is more along being the healer of your line. So you're the healer of your lineage. And any spiritual practices that you can do that create healing, that actually allow you to be balanced, and as you know, we talked about earlier when we started, you're the one that can show up in a room and actually create this healing space. The more you work on doing that and being that, the more this healing takes place. But the ancestors are calling you in to be that healer of your lineage. The lighting of the candles was something that was what they wanted to do then, that was sort of a spiritual practice to awaken that in you. And you've done that. You've
Okay.
done that. So you don't have to continue that practice. You may want to make sure that you're doing, sort of a continuous connection with the ancestors, different spiritual practices, trying different things. Um, One of the things that's coming through is to cook something that was part of your family lineage, to prepare it and then share it with others,
Oh,
whether it's family members or friends, or you're taking it to a potluck, right? You're cooking it,
okay.
and the act of preparing it is creating a deeper connection with your ancestors.
That is really interesting. My kids run a little cooking school in Israel, and they've put out more than 200,000 meals for
Wow.
the food insecure during the last two wars.
Thank you for
But I'm
them.
I'm doing sound healing, and I'm going to do a community sound healing with my instruments for my birthday in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks and invite
Ah,
everybody in no
happy
charge. And I'd
birthday.
like to do more sound healings. And thank you. That's very interesting to hear. I like cooking, but it was my mom, my sister, and my kids who do most of that. But I'll let them know what good work they're doing with all that cooking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a part of your lineage. And for you, the cooking is not so important for you to, become this world-renowned chef. The purpose of the cooking was to create a deeper connection with your ancestors.
Okay.
But then the cooking becomes the product becomes kind of an healing. So if you can bake something and take it, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I need to go in the kitchen and I have to, create this big recipe or anything like that.
No, it's all right.
You
My
know,
kids will write that cookbook. I have
yeah.
found during the ascension period, which has been very rough on me, and many days, even though I get 10 hours sleep, I'm just still dizzy all day. One thing I can do to relieve the stress is to cook.
Okay. Well, if
Awesome.
you can bring something to your healing, sound healing, that people can enjoy afterwards, that would be really powerful, because it's a way for you to make a deeper connection with your lineage. But part of your lineage is, this healing that takes place. So it will be a healing gift to your
Okay.
community that takes the healing to a different, it gives a different dimension to the healing.
Okay, I do go to a lot of potlucks.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank
There
you,
you
My
go.
Sarah.
my community gets together for Sabbath and we all cook some food.
Yeah, great. That's a great
Okay.
opportunity to do that. Close your eyes, go in the kitchen, ask for divine guidance, and then whatever it is that, you're here to make
Okay,
that
Shefali,
day.
we can both do that. We can both up our cooking level. But it's probably why, and Shefali's heard this before, that my mother, after she passed, sent a message through one of my friends to me. She said, I never understood what you were doing in life. I never understood you, but now that I'm on the other side, I can see what the work you're doing is holy. So we'll keep cooking and singing and whistling and
There
loving
it
each other.
is.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely. You're
Thank you, Sarah.
welcome. Thank you for sharing.
All right, there's a question from Linda in the chat, and I'm going to say, Linda, yes. When connecting with the higher aspects of our ancestors, gifts, talents, etc., can we be open-ended if we don't know what they are for the highest good for myself, for them, and for all? Absolutely open to all that may want to come through.
The answer is yes. For you right now, the ancestors are looking for a deeper opening. They're looking for a way to connect with you that helps you hear them and them hear you. And try different spiritual practices to have that deeper connection with them. And I don't even know if that answers your question, but that was the message that they came through with, is that the members of your ancestral lineage on your mother's father's side have some gifts that are already flowing through you, and they're looking for the best way to have that relationship with you to help enhance those gifts. Your, I'm going to say job, but they're just saying job, but you can call it a job or you can call it just a gift that you're giving, is to open yourself to having different forms of communication with them. And one of them that I'm getting is through music. So if you know of music that comes from your cultural background that the ancestors may have listened to at any time, play that music as a way to make a connection. You have in your family lineage, on both sides of the family, but more specifically your mother's father's side, music was a form of communication and healing. And they want to communicate with you. So, really spending some time with music, playing music, dancing, closing your eyes and feeling the music and dancing. If you play music, in terms of if you're a musician, then that's another way to do it as well. You're riding down the street, play the songs and just allow them to speak to you. And playing the songs that they listen to are really important, but you can also play ones that bring something up for you, that open you. There's something about the melodies and the way the notes come together that create this healing for you that is different than sound healing, which is important and really powerful as well. But this is about hearing the music and just being in the space with the music. And music that has lyrics are really a lot of what they're looking for as well. So that may not have answered your question, but that was what your ancestors had for you based on you stepping up and asking the question.
Awesome. Thank you. Let us know how that resonates with you. I think it was Linda. Yep, Linda. All right, so we're going to go to Asha. If you want to unmute.
Folly, can you take the next person I'll go after? And like walking out of the store right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so let me just see. The next question in the chat was from B. B, you have two questions, so I'm just going to go with the first one. She says, I'd love guidance from my great-great-grandmother and others regarding the man I just broke up with and if we are complete this life or will we try again down the road?
Okay, so what I'll share with you is that I don't work with the ancestors in that way where they give you these definitive answers on that, because that really is a part of your soul, that is a part of your self-expression and your free will. What I will say is, as we connect with the ancestors, there is right now for you, this is the important time for you to be focused on you, self-care. This is a time for a deeper connection. This is the time for you to nurture the relationships that you weren't able to nurture because there was a focus on your marriage. And those relationships are your spiritual relationships, the relationship with self, the relationship with higher self, with your soul, with, the ancestors and the people around you that you most want to connect to. They are really encouraging you right now to be very discerning about who you really want to invest your time and energy in. Not because you think you need to, but because you want to. You want to. This is a period of time for you to be involved in community, not isolation, even though sometimes that's where we go when we're dealing with some of these things. May not be you, but very clearly they want you to be in community, whether it's a community you create or a community that you decide to get involved in. In terms of it being over, finalized, and that kind of thing, I'm careful about giving that kind of information, but I will say this. For the moment, that isn't the focus. That relationship isn't the focus. The focus is the things that I just shared with you. That doesn't mean that at some point there may be some change that takes place as a result of where you are and where this other person is at some point. But for now, for you, this is your next chapter where you get to do what you want to do, be who you want to be, express in the way you want to express things, have a deeper connection on a spiritual level, and seek out the ways that you want to experience joy. And do it unapologetically. Enjoy your life. This is where you are right now. This is what the ancestors are lining you up for right now. And sometimes the ancestors, spirit guides, the universe, creates opportunities for us to be solo for a moment so that we can hear the messages and we can receive the messages that we need to receive in order for us to really thrive in the next chapters of our lives. So this is that time for you. Some solo time, connecting, and then also community. So creating some kind of community around you, whatever that looks like for you. This is really an exciting time for you. It is change. It can be challenging, and you are dealing with an ending. But what the ancestors are saying is that this begins to open up a chapter for you that is unbelievable. Totally different than what you ever would have expected, but not from the standpoint of pain, but from the standpoint of happiness and joy. So enjoy this moment, embrace it, step into it. Don't worry about whether or not that relationship is coming back or not coming back. What I can tell you for sure is that your next chapter brings you joy like you've never experienced before. with or without someone. So hopefully that helps.
I love that. And you know what? I can definitely vouch for that because, I've been alone for a little while now, and I have to tell you, for the past year, almost a year now, like my life has completely changed, and I've been focusing on me and my spirituality, my consciousness, and all that wonderful stuff, and it's totally different. So maybe someday I'll be open to a relationship, but not right now. It's like it's me time. It's time for me, right? And for myself, I feel like a lot has changed um, personally for me in this past year after I finally healed, I think, kind of stuff. So it's interesting how life takes us on these turns, twists and turns, and it's always where you're meant to be, right? It's always for your highest good. So B, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, but can we just keep the question to like one because we're already way over time. But you're unmuted now.
Sure, sure. Hi, thank you, everybody. Hi, Dr.MoNique. Thanks so much. Yeah, that feels like what's going on, and I'm just wondering if I should try to find another community or stay where I am. I'm not really comfy where I am. They're not my people, in my neighborhood. But I can create community, out in the greater community. And I'm just kind of wondering what I should do for service, as far as like what talents to focus on. I mean, right now I'm just going to try and get out and have fun and make new friends, I guess.
That is your focus for now. Your focus for now is experiencing joy.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like for you, you define it.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you. And when I say in community, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be surrounded by 100 people.
Or my neighborhood. Yeah, I can go out.
Yeah, or your neighborhood. Absolutely.
Find my people. Find some new friends. I mean, should I volunteer, or I'm not sure what to do really.
I mean, it could even be like online. Like this is an online community, right, B? So this is, again, a community, right? So it doesn't have to be physically in person kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to try and, get out and dance and have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, get out, dance, have fun. Really look at what is it that you really enjoy doing.
Well, I garden a lot. I have a lot of big gardens, so I grow a lot.
Okay. If you enjoy gardening, then maybe joining a gardening group.
Well, like in a community garden, so I'm making friends there.
Yeah, different things like that.
Like that, yeah.
Getting involved in places where you already enjoy. So if you're a person that doesn't enjoy dancing and being out at a bar, then don't do that, right?
Yeah, not me.
If you're a person that's like, you know what, I love going out line dancing and hanging out and being in a group and listening to live music, then that's your place.
Yeah. This gentleman who I broke up with, he wanted to be friends, but I just can't do it after romance. All of a sudden, he just wants to be friends, and I'm like, I can't do it. So I just told him I need to say goodbye, stop contact.
Well, and the thing about it is right now you may feel that way, and you can say that you need that space. And I will reach out to you when and if I feel I can be in that type of a relationship with you. But right now I can't. And it is okay.
Yeah.
That is absolutely okay. You get to define this.
Yeah, it's just hard.
The other thing that I find is when one relationship goes away,
might be
other opportunities come.
Yeah. Do you see that? Maybe.
Or it might just be time for you to be with you.
And when I said other opportunities, I didn't necessarily mean, it could be relationships, but an opportunity to be with yourself, or an opportunity to connect on a different level, or an opportunity to go and experience things that you never did experience before.
Yep.
This is the other thing that I'm getting for you is this is your time for independence. And I'm going to encourage you and challenge you based on what I'm sensing from the ancestors to go do something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone, but something that you've wanted to do that you haven't done.
Yeah.
And something that you don't necessarily feel like you have to have all these other people around, because there's something about you showing up solo that creates some new opportunities for you.
Yeah, I will. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right now, I'm just kind of trying to heal my body because I just went through a lot of stress. I lost a lot of weight. I'm just trying to
So focus on that and but
focus
also
on that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing right now. Except my kitchen flooded today. There's like a flash flood. So.
Oh my goodness. Oh well, good luck with that.
Never a dull
I'm sorry
moment,
to
as my mom used to say. But
call
thank
in
you
the
so
ancestors
much.
for help.
Yeah. Someone told me my great-great-grandmother to call in her.
There you go.
Then
Do
do
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do it.
Thank you, B.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monique. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for your question and for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
All right, we're gonna go back to Asha, see if she's around. Let me press unmute and let me go
Hey,
back in the.
Shefali.
Yep.
Hi. Yes, I'm actually driving. I'm just gonna pull over so I can talk. 1 second.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I can talk.
Awesome. What's your question?
Sure. Hi, Monique. Thank you so much for your support and all your guidance. Very interesting, and I learned so much. So thank you for that. My question for you is, I really want to hear more and tune into my ancestors. I don't know a lot about them because I didn't grow up, but I'm inspired and I feel the strength from the stories that I did hear about them. So how can I safely and clearly strengthen my connection with my ancestors who are aligned with my highest good, so I can really recognize and trust their guidance and wisdom, and also discernment, like any daily practices. So
Package A.
Package A.
Package A. And then if you want to go deeper, package B. And that's not me just wanting to sell you something. I have to be honest. It really is. Those are some of the best ways to gain this connection, because even with the package B, the ancestral guidance circle, in that circle, you'll be able to ask questions, but you'll also be able to receive the ancestor that's working with you right now, and how to have a deeper connection with that specific ancestor. And that is important. Yeah. Until you actually go that route, what I would say for you is that you don't have to know who your ancestors are. That's not important. But the stories that you mentioned that you've heard about your ancestors, take a moment to write them down. Now, you don't have to create this big, long story, but write down the points of the story. And the reason why you're doing that is because as you write that story, you build a connection with that ancestor. What you're saying to that ancestor is, I'm really interested in your story and the things that happened to you. And that's another way to establish a connection. And I'll say, by writing the story, it really does help for future generations as well. Right there, book behind. I've shared that before. 10 years of research, stories about my ancestors. It's called Threads, a family history written by my mom and my aunt. And those stories inspire me. When I'm needing to connect, I will open up the book, find the story, and then just read about that ancestor and just stop for a moment and just connect with that ancestor and just feel their energy. Do the same thing for any ancestors that you have any information about. Now, you were saying that you don't know a whole lot about them, and that's okay too. Another thing that you can do is look at your family and look at things that you see that are repeating, not necessarily all wounds, but just things that you see repeating, whether it's, you notice that in your family lineage, people all enjoy music, or a lot of the people enjoy art, or they enjoy hiking. Whatever that is, you know that somewhere in your lineage, that is something that has been passed down. So just write about it. Take those things and put them on an altar. And that is a way of saying to your ancestors, I'm open to connecting with you. Think about the things that you enjoy. You could even make a list. These are the things that I love to do. What ancestors are in my family lineage that enjoyed these things? I'm open to a connection. Write them down, put them on an altar. That altar can be as minimal as a glass of water and a candle, or some flowers and some kind of a beverage, all the way up to photos and fabrics and different things that represent your ancestors. It doesn't really matter how elaborate it is, you're basically saying, I'm bringing this to the altar and I'm welcoming you into my life. So those are a few of the things that you can start doing. But that day-to-day connection that we go through in Conjure 21 is really powerful.
That's amazing, Monique. And that would help me too. Like sometimes I really would like to, so my I know some of my ancestors, but not a lot. So my dad passed away, about a year now, and I've been trying to ask him specifically, some questions and guidance as I would usually do so when he was around. But sometimes I think my intuition answers, what I'm asking, but I don't know all the time if it's him or if it's just myself answering the question.
Are you happy with the answers?
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
If you feel like the answers, now, when I say, are you happy with the answers, that doesn't mean that the answers are what you want them to be. What I mean is, do you feel like the answers are providing you with the guidance and the information that you're seeking? If you feel that, then it doesn't really matter where it's coming from. And sometimes ancestors will speak through your intuition. I mean, there can be a thin line there, right? So that's okay. Don't worry about so much about who is delivering the information. As I think what's more important is, where is the information centered in you? Where do you feel it, and is it feeling right to you? And later on, you may want to look at who, and once you start having that regular connection, you'll start to know. But for now, don't worry about that. Just keep the connection.
Okay, yeah. Continue trusting that guidance as long as it feels good.
Yes. As long as you feel like it's guiding you in the right direction, and remembering you always have free will. And so you want to be sure that you apply that as well. But as long as you feel like the information that you're getting is supporting you, then just keep continuing with the relationship. And you can even stop and ask the ancestors, okay, so I'm trying to figure out if this is you, or if this is my intuition, or is this coming from another place? But that's not the most important part. The most important part is consistent communication.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's very helpful.
I'll see you in package A, Asha.
Yeah, Shefali. Thank you, Monique. That was very helpful.
I
definitely want to grow in that connection and just be able to explore that more and be more empowered.
Absolutely.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Asha.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. We have two more questions. One, really, because I know we've already gone way over, but two questions. I love this question. It's from Arietta. And she said, I have received 4 book titles. I have seen the book covers as well. I'm a wonderful poetess, but not consider myself a writer. The question for my ancestors is if I will be a writer or if finally be able to share with the world these beautiful books with powerful titles. Thank you. So, you know, books can be written by a poetess, right? So a book of poems.
Absolutely. I was on mute because the garbage people are out here, and for some reason they're staying there. So hopefully that's not interrupting. But
Yeah, we can't hear them.
okay, great. Okay. So yeah, I mean, a writer can be anything. I mean, I think sometimes we think that it has to be someone who's writing a book or that kind of thing. But if you sit down and you write a poem, you're a writer.
Yeah.
The question is, do you want to be a published writer? And published writer doesn't necessarily mean a book. It could be that, there's a online publication, I think it's called Kind Over Matter. My mother's written several articles for them, and they've been published. Now, she's a published author, but even if she hadn't been, she would be considered a published author because that's a publication that's been published. You can decide whether or not it needs to be in a book, or you want it in a book, or do you want it to be something that you share through other publications? If your poetry is something that keeps coming up for you and you keep writing the poetry and you're feeling really good about this, then I'm going to encourage you to publish it somewhere, however you want to, whether it's in the book form or you put a few of your pieces in different places until you get to the point where you're ready to put them all into a book. And your ancestors on your father's mother's side, there were a number of writers. I'm seeing a male ancestor dipping his pen in ink and writing, doing some writing. So there are some writers in your family lineage, and you can ask them to come forward and share with you and be a part of this writing experience. But what I'm sensing for you is that initially if you haven't already, it's actually putting some of your work out into the world, letting people experience it, because there's a healing part of your poetry. So putting it out there so that other people can see it, read it, feel it, set an intention behind it as you write it, as you put it somewhere. If you decide to share it on social media or in an email or however you decide to share it, set the intention as you're putting it there that this is healing poetry that others get to experience. I'm also sensing that your voice reading the poetry could be very powerful too. Something to consider there. I don't know if you have children or not, but I just saw something that I thought was really powerful that kind of came up when we were talking about this. I saw where this person has created these books where there's a QR code in the book. So there's a picture and it just kind of gives a summary of a story, and then you use your phone, go to the QR code, and it's your voice reading the story. Wouldn't that be something interesting to consider for you? And then you actually are reading the poem. I don't know, just coming up.
I love that.
Be creative, be open to this, and be open to non-traditional ways of your poetry being seen and heard and felt by other people. Hopefully that helped you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, Arietta, let us know how that resonates with you, but it definitely resonated with me for you. So I love that. All right, Rhonda, did you have a question? You want to unmute?
Hi to you both. Thank you. This has been an amazing call and it's resonated a lot with me. My question for Dr. Monique is in regards to guidance from my ancestors. I've been having a ringing in my left ear and have received some guidance that I may be blocking hearing from my ancestors. So I would just love any insight that she has.
Okay. So before we go there, I want to be sure that you know, if there's checked on any medical reasons for that, right?
I
So
have,
that's
I
important.
have done that as well.
Okay, good. Okay. I have to say that first.
I
Right.
Um, so let me just now for some people, and this is the case for me, when the ancestors begin to connect with me and even my spirit guides, I get a sound in my ear, and it's a different sound. It almost, in my case, it almost sounds like the ocean, kind of a swooshing. And I've even had to tell them when I'm driving down the street, now it's not the time to do this, right? But it'll come through. And I then know that there's a message for me. And I need to go and I need to take some time and listen to the message. If I can't do it right then and there, I know that there's a message that's coming for me. So for you, start to notice when you're receiving, or is it a constant ringing in your ear, or is it something that just kind of comes and goes?
Comes and goes.
Okay. So start to notice when it's coming. And if you're in a place where you can stop in that moment and just allow it to come through, just listen to the sound, tune into the sound that's coming through, and close your eyes and say to the ancestors, if this is you communicating with me, even your guides, if this is you communicating with me, I'm open to receive it. And just kind of be in that moment and just kind of be with it. And then if it goes away, then, you know, you can go ahead and move on. If it doesn't go away, you know, sit with it as long as you have time to sit with it. Write down whatever's coming up. You know, start to, because I'm getting a sense that your ancestors will communicate with you through writing a little bit. So just write down, you know, as you're listening to the sound, what is happening? You know, what does the sound like for you? Write down that you're open to receiving, you know, messages and guidance from them. Your ancestors are at a point where they are wanting to have a deeper relationship with you and they're wanting to communicate with you. So they are trying different ways to reach you. And now is probably the time to really slow down and listen. Right? Listen. Creating an altar could be really powerful because it would be a way of you acknowledging those elder beings that, you know, are part of your family lineage. It would be if you also have time to connect with some of your elder family members and ask them stories. Gather the stories, because I get the sense that some of that will open you to that connection as well. Those stories for you, do you write?
No, not consistently. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Okay. Are there elders in your family that you can talk to and ask about stories?
Yes.
Okay. Record them. If you don't want to write them, record them. You know, record them sharing, come up with a list of questions and record them sharing about their life experience. Ask them about their parents and what they know about their grandparents. What's the funniest story that you remember? Think of some questions. You can even go and search for, you know, what questions to ask when you're interviewing elders. There's even a few books out there on interviewing your elders to gather their stories. I'm getting the sense that you're the story keeper. And if writing isn't it, then try doing the recording the stories and then, you know, saving them somewhere. And then that's going to help with that sound that you're receiving. So it isn't that you're ignoring them. It's that there's just trying to establish that frequency right now is what's important. But through those stories, I think you're going to find something pretty exciting.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank
Rhonda.
you. Thank you for sharing.
And I just want to say really quickly too, just around that whole piece, was when you are experiencing that ringing or tone in your ear, and it's not medical, we know it's energy and it's frequencies coming in or downloads of information coming in, you may not be able to process what it is in that moment, but try and notice in the next couple of days or whatever, what information comes to you, what insights come to you, what, just synchronicities, etc. Because sometimes you may not get words, but you'll get a feel. Like I'm a feeler, right? So I get a feeler and a knowing, right? And so sometimes it's just being aware that you'll pick up a book, and in that book is the information that they were trying to show you, or you'll hear something on the radio, or you'll see something on TV, and you'll know that that was it. That's the message I was getting, right? It will resonate with you in that moment. You'll know it to be true for you. So just always,
Good
just
point.
be aware of that, right? So I know that's how it is for me.
Yeah, good point. Yep, absolutely.
Right. So it may not be like, completely interpretable in the moment, but you will, the frequencies are coming in, the downloads are coming in, and just be willing to receive. And when that used to happen to me in the past, because it doesn't happen that much anymore, because I feel like I'm always channeling now all the time. But in the past, I used to, feel that and feel a heaviness, and I would lie down and I would fall asleep for like 10, 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Right. And that was a way to receive, because I'm just so much in my head that, my body needed to shut down for a few minutes just so I could receive fully, right? And then I would,
That sound, yeah,
interpret in a while, kind of thing. If that makes sense, right?
that's beautiful because that sound can have so many messages in
Yeah.
it within itself.
Yeah.
Like
So
guidance. And I think you're opening up to that. I'm happy that you're acknowledging it.
that's wonderful, Rhonda. Thank you. Okay, so Rhonda, there is Sarah's phone number in the chat. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want this all over the web. So just read the chat, okay? And I'm just going to share really quickly. There was a message from Cindy. Cindy says, I highly recommend Dr.MoNique's packages, great material, workshops, and community to help learn and connect with your ancestors. So I also highly recommend Dr.MoNique, as I always do whenever she's on. She's amazing. And obviously the information that's coming through is of a high quality, high caliber, clear, and to the point of what you need, when you're asking the question. It's for you, but also at the same time, a lot of the information, like what she shared for Rhonda, some of that information we can all take in as well. We can all use that as well. So it's not just for that person, but if it resonates with you, if it makes sense to you, then please, please take that information as well for yourself and apply it. Right?
Yes. And thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I enjoy our work together too.
So yeah, highly recommend Dr.MoNique for sure.
Thank you, Shefali.
I mean, if I could work with you like all the time, I would as well. I mean, like, you're just amazing, right? But I'm going to definitely be doing the 21-day program, because I said it last
Yes.
time, but
Yes.
I was busy. But right now, for the next, month or two, I'm good. So like I have some time. So
Good. Okay. Would love for you to do that.
I'm definitely going to, because I have a good connection with my guides and the galactics and angels and all that, that whole team. But I've never really worked with the ancestors, and I would like to, because there's so much wisdom there as well, right? So why not open ourselves to receive more of what's available? Why close off one area of our life, or one access point, you could say, of information and resources, right? When it has so much for us that's available. So definitely.
And your ancestors are speaking through those other beings too.
Yeah, beautiful.
So now having
I
that
just
direct
remembered my
connection.
question I had. Thank you for sharing that. That was my question. Can my ancestors be the galactics and the angels and the guides, etc., on different realms and whatever different realities, can they be my ancestors as well? I
They're
mean,
all a part of your spiritual team.
I
They're
know they
all a
are.
part of that spiritual team. So they can be communicating the messages through the beings that you most feel connected with.
Yeah.
And
I
if you're
mean,
most connected with those beings, then they're communicating with those beings for you on your behalf. And it happens even more so when you are saying, you know what, I want to have that other communication. I want to be able to communicate. What you're probably going to find is that it's going to happen even more now.
beautiful. And it's so weird that I had that question, because it's kind of like they wanted to come forward to share that, because we always think that we're separate from the galactics and the angels and so on. We're not. We're all, but I know that my DNA and lineage is connected to the Andromedans, and so we look at the Andromedans as galactic, right? But
Right.
as Earth beings, we're also galactic. We're also in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So it's that was my question. So you mentioned it before I asked the question, or they came through to answer the question before I asked it, because they knew that was the question I wanted to ask.
I love that.
See how amazing
Yeah,
that is, how
I
that
love
works.
that.
I love that.
This is fun.
Oh goodness. All right. So I know we've gone way over, but any last words of wisdom for us today, Dr. MoNique? I mean, you shared so much already.
Yeah, so my words of wisdom for you are to create a constant relationship with your ancestors. Communicate with them, be with them, share with them, listen to them. And you don't have to have a special gift, if you will, to have that kind of communication. We all have the ability to have this communication. What makes it different is whether or not we intentionally create the connection with them. And if you're intentional about it and you do the different practices to get there, then it will happen. And the Conjure Connection 21 is one of the ways that you can have that connection and have some real resources and tools that help you create that connection on a consistent basis with your ancestors.
Beautiful.
And remember, your ancestors are more than stories of wounds. Your ancestors are also a source of courage and inspiration and resilience that you can tap into and allow to really flow through you at different parts of your life and at different times in your life. They have a medicine and they're ready to share it with you. Connect.
Beautiful. Yes, connect. Exactly. Thank you. Sarah, did you see the phone number that Rhonda wrote in the chat? Because once we're gone, the chat's gone. So I don't have it. All right. So everyone, this was an amazing conversation. Again, like always, I'm just always so impressed by, bowled over by, floored by the information that comes through by Dr. MoNique, and how much she shares so much with all of us. I'm just, I love it. So Marlene says, hope to join you at the Conjure 21. What a marvelous circle that would be. See you
Wonderful.
there,
Would
and many
love to have you
blessings.
there.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Marlene.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
And
So
Shefali, thank you for creating this space and creating this opportunity. I'm truly grateful. You inspire me, and the work that you're doing in the world is so, so incredible and powerful and is truly a gift to all of us. So thank you.
thank you. I mean, we've known each other for so long now.
We have.
Oh my goodness. And you've been with me through all the ups and downs and changes, and so much. All right.
And I
So
see you glowing right now. There's just a peacefulness to you that is just so beautiful to see.
thank you. And this is because this is what I love to do, right? So this is this is one of my gifts, is
Yes.
communication and sharing and all that wonderful stuff, right? So, and sending out love. Yeah, this was amazing. Thank you, everybody. I will send out the replay in a little while, so definitely go back and watch and listen, because again, so much wisdom. And sometimes for myself, I hear something once, but it's like I need to hear it again, for it to go in fully, right? So definitely go back and watch and listen. Definitely join us in Conjure 21, Package A, or in Package B, which includes the Ancestral Guidance Circle, which I think is amazing because the information that's going to come through there for it's only limited to 6 people is going to be truly transformational and life-changing because it's going to give you a much deeper, fuller answer or information than what we were able to give here on this call, right?
Yes.
And you'll be able to receive the information from all 6 of the participants and all 6 of the ancestors or more that come through, right? So it's going to be so powerful. So definitely take a look at that and join whichever one resonates with you the most at this moment. But I'm definitely going to be doing the Conjure 21. I'm excited, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So when Dr.MoNique launched it last time, I was like, yes, I want to do this, but I was just, but now, I'm pretty good. I have the bandwidth to handle it, and it's only 10 minutes a day, right? Kind of thing, right? So it's like I can do that. I can connect for 10 minutes a day to my ancestors. But it's for me, it's like this is what's coming through, opening a portal of opportunities when we are connecting with another guidance system, which is the ancestors. It's a portal of opportunities, and and at the same time, it's a portal of healing. So as we are healing, our ancestors are also healing. If they're wishing to receive the healing, they are also healing. But again, when we are connecting with the ancestors, it doesn't have to be to the wounded ancestors. It could be the ascended ancestors who are healed and wholesome, complete, who can share and who want to share their wisdom with us at this point, so that we can continue to uh, what they're getting, prosper on our journey is what I'm getting, right? So prosper on our journey. And I think if we can receive even more support on our journey, why not? Why close that door? Why not open that door? Right? So I'm excited, Dr.MoNique. So
Thank you.
and thank you everybody for all your questions, comments, feedback. And I think what you asked for and what you shared opened up more information and wisdom to come through. So thank you. A
Yeah,
portal to
thank you.
endless opportunities, Cindy says.
Yes, yes. Thank you
So
all for being here and for your questions. Thank you
yeah.
for giving me this opportunity to connect with the ancestors. That's what I do, and that's who I am, and that's the work that I've been assigned by the ancestors to do. So you're giving me that opportunity to do it, and I appreciate it.
And that's your gift to the world, right? That's
Yes,
one of your gifts to the world. It's not the only one, but that's one of your gifts to the world, right? So thank
yes.
you. All right, everyone. So again, tomorrow we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so I hope you'll join us then. But I will have the recordings out in a little while. So definitely stay tuned for that. And join us, me, and Asha and Marlene and anybody else in the Conjure 21. I'm looking Conjure Connection 21. Conjure Connection 21. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm excited. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.